And we back.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling?
What is up? What is up? What is up? What's up? What's going on,
Go
brother?
ahead, bring us in, brother. Talk to us. Let us
Come
know
on,
what's
man.
happening.
What up? What up, world? What up, world? Fresh off the heels of a heartbreaking loss. Boy, what's the word of the day is melancholy. God damn, boy.
Yeah, that
Hey,
was rough. That was really
listen,
rough.
man. Listen.
That was really rough.
Let
I
me
almost
tell
shed
you.
a couple tears that night.
Nah, you know what, man? What
Yeah.
I appreciate about this loss, because it's not a lot. it's not a lot. It's the belief that we could pull it off. I actually like the hope that the Bears were inspiring. You know what I mean? Like I really love that we was able to get people to buy in because, man, listen, what I realized with this playoff run was that um they say Chicago is a Bears town, and I agree. There's, we want to be great at stuff. No, listen, I'll tell you this. Uh, we want to root for everything and everybody.
I'm
But
sorry, it's just a hilarious statement coming from somebody from Chicago. When they say Chicago is a Bears town, they not lying. Like,
yeah, man.
of
Because
course,
when you
somebody
think,
from Chicago would say that.
no, listen. I heard it from people outside Chicago. I mean,
No,
you
but
ain't
you
the
know what?
only
I get
person.
it. I get it because people say that about the Lakers when they say it's a Laker town. So I feel it.
Man. So
You're right.
like,
I'm gonna leave you alone.
I think that when you look at what happened, it was like, man, they had everybody rooting for them. That ain't the same with the Cubs or the Sox or even the Bulls. You know what I mean? Like this was a unified effort in
I need you
wanting
to
to
center
pull it
yourself
off.
a little bit. You like all the way on the edge. They can't really see you. Yeah, center
Man,
yourself a little bit.
y'all don't want to y'all don't
You
want to
lean
see
a
me.
little. You like to lean. You like to lean to your
I'm
left when you talk.
I'm
So they need to.
leaning because
They
I'm
need to see you.
sad.
They need to see your face.
Okay.
You trying to hide his face on the pod. Violation.
Absolutely, man. Because I thought we was gonna win. Hey, what? Let's go kind of back and forth. You know what I mean? I'll give a takeaway from the game. You give a takeaway from the game.
I'm cool with that because I got a lot to say about that game. And
And
everything I said in the last episode, I was right about, and they
yeah.
didn't do it, and that's why they got cooked.
Hey. All right. So listen. First of all, I'll start with a positive takeaway. Caleb, ice in them veins, baby. Ice in them veins. Listen, this is the first time in Bears history, outside of talent, I'm thinking about like Jay Cutler, where he had the talent to pull it off. But you're talking about a stone cold killer. Because listen to me, that pass, Caleb, you know what? I'm talking to you, Caleb. Dear Caleb, you are him. Okay? That scramble, tie the game, top right now. That is the top throw of the season for me. You got to give me somebody to go against. So I'll just say, starting off, I will appreciate Caleb and Ben not going into the next season on a hot seat. I think we actually have an off season for the first time in a long time where the coach and the quarterback will not be a question mark because even though we lost, Ben is still him. And even though we lost, Caleb is definitely the Bears quarterback of now. So I'll start there. What you got?
I'm not upset at that. I like that take starting off with something positive. For me, I'm not gonna start with something positive. I'm gonna say Ben Johnson.
Hell no.
I get
Go
it.
ahead.
First year leader in the position where you at the top. And I relate to Ben Johnson. I mean, you get a big job, big gig, first year. You want to take as many risks as possible because you feel like it's better for your team if you take risks because you took risks to get to where you are. But my issue with Ben Johnson in that playoff game was there has to be some level of risk calculation especially when it comes to football, because there's only a finite amount of points that you're really going to be able to score in a game based upon the back and forth in the game. And for me, what I didn't personally appreciate about Ben Johnson's play calling is I am always a believer in football or in basketball. If you got an easy bucket or an easy opportunity to create a shot or to generate points, you take the points every time. If you buy the rim, if you buy the rim or underneath the rim, Ben Simmons, and you got Trae Young guarding you, don't swing the ball back out for three. Take the ball to the rim and dunk the ball, because that's the highest percentage shot. And in that first quarter, when he didn't go for that field goal, I get it. You want to be rough. You want to catch him off guard. But, man, everybody talked about how this St. Louis team could score. So why wouldn't you be trying to just accumulate points? And my homie who covers the Bears, shout out to Scott, host of I'm Not Gonna Hold You on HNBmedia.com, he was like, yeah, but you're not going to beat the Rams scoring field goals. Well, guess what? They won by a field goal. So in my personal opinion, I just thought Ben Johnson was a little too reckless, and he should have followed the game plan more and thought about the rest of the game and the full context of the year, rather than him thinking about what he would, his emotions in the moment. Because if he would have thought about everything that it took over the last year to get here, he would have been like, you know what, let me kick this field goal to take these points and continue to give my team a chance. If the offense is sputtering, it's cold, the wind is whipping. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he didn't really set them up for success in that first quarter again. They played like garbage for the first 25 minutes and then turn it up in the last 35 minutes. But I'll let you go ahead because I'm sure you got more to say.
Well, no, let me respond to that real quick. I agree. I think that the thing about this, and you know this, and I think me and you both, even in our relationship, like we've been able to acknowledge it subliminally about each other, right? Is the reason why our relationship works is I've always been more adverse to perceived risk than you, right? In certain areas, when it comes to like talking or being an extrovert and stuff like that. The thing about it though is it's how I'm wired. You know what I mean? And so if you're wired like that, what I've learned is you have to build in ways to save yourself from yourself. And I don't think he really did when which and I'm saying this in support of what you said. Like, those points, they come back to haunt you. And I'll even go as far as to say I also agree, because right after Caleb threw that touchdown, which is leading to my next takeaway, right? We absolutely should have went for two after that touchdown to win the game. And I'm gonna and here's my logic. I can't hear you.
I disagree with that, but I'm a solo cameo, so that way we can clip this.
Yeah,
go ahead. Get your point.
Got you. I think that we should have definitely went for two after Caleb's big touchdown, if we're looking at it in a vacuum now. And here's why. When you look at what we were doing in overtime, the Bears already stopped the Rams. We had the ball, we had control. And the bigger thing here is you walk down the field. You know what I mean? You take your time, you chip away, because you have the ability now to control the outcome. So if what we were going to do was still try to go for that home run throw, we might as well have went for two. We might as well, like, while we had the momentum, there would not have been any more momentum than that moment when Caleb completely tied that game, hit him in the face with that touchdown, completely knocked their socks off, completely shocked the world. Take that moment and go for it. Because if not, everything like this, remember, we're talking about risk here. And apparently, we're risk averse, you know what I mean? Or not risk averse enough, because, here we are throwing a 30-yarder. DJ will get on you in a moment. But we tried to go for the home run play. We were already getting 6 and 7 yards here and there. So I'm just saying, for me, I feel like we should have just gone ahead. The Bears should have tried to go for it after Caleb's amazing touchdown to tie the game, to try to win it.
Yeah, I can't argue against that. I don't agree with you. I think they should have took it to overtime. My biggest problem with the Bears in that game was in overtime. Why are you going for a home run?
Yeah, I agree.
You didn't need a home run. You didn't. There was no possible way in that scenario you swing for the home run. To me, you go and you especially similarly to what you said, you're already methodically moving down the field, right? And you have this momentum after you've taken it and pushed the game to overtime. You got the ball back because you chose to give it to them first. If you score at all, if the Bears would have scored at all, they win the game.
The game is over.
Why are you trying to take a home run? You're at the 50, at the 45, I think 47.
Yeah.
Keep marching the ball up the field. It's just certain risks that I just was like, you don't need a home run now. You need a single, another single to get the runner that was on first to third, and then maybe try to do a sacrifice bunt or a pop out to the outfield and get the runner to scoring off the fly in. And I just thought he was just swinging for home runs after that. Which, if you're gonna swing for a home run, then yeah, I do agree with what you said, but not at that point in time.
No, I agree. Not at that point. And brother, this brings up the perfect point of current players understanding something like this is significant, right? The tape has to match your attitude. The tape has to match how you think you stack up against everyone else, right? Because here's the thing.
And you can clip that.
When you think about Terrell Owens, you could say what you want, but the tape proved he was special. You could look at Randy Moss and him saying, "Man, I'm the show," and then his stat line and the tape will show Randy Moss for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns with 6 receptions. The tape will match it. And so my issue there is, if we are going to do that, if we are going to go for the home run, every fucking body has to have a home run attitude. And when that tape was replayed, DJ looked horrible. And listen, DJ has saved us. Like,
you're the last person I thought that was gonna go ahead on DJ Moore.
No, listen, and only because and I'm gonna tell you this, bro. This is the reason why I'm saying it. Because the reason why we're surprised is because this is not what we expected. Sometimes you're surprised by lack of effort because of the person's normal effort. So what I'm saying is, if this is somebody that has fought through or shown up in big times, we have to get to that point, and this is just the learning curve of being great. There are no plays you can take off. You got to commit every single route to them believing you're going to get the ball. And when you play that play in slow motion, not only was he not flat enough, but the effort wasn't there. So not only do you have a problem with the energy level and how committed you are on the execution of the route, but when you look at where he was, he collapsed and went too high on somebody, and thereby he wasn't flat enough to where that ball went. Caleb threw it in exactly where if he would have cut across the field. And so the only thing I'm saying is, when we talk about, how you feel and how you stack up with the greats, I don't see enough wide receivers that either A, have enough explosive and ability and separation to have the stats to back it up, or have the consistency, of that, the Cooper Cups and all of those special seasons of, like, every single play, you know that they're going to run the route with extreme professionalism and extreme effort. And so I'm just saying that, like my issue there is that exposed a moment that even though they're, it's within a microcosm of the whole game, at the most opportune moment, at the most important moment of the season, you have your top wide receiver looking like fucking George Pickens. And it's like, I don't, that's not a good feeling, bro. Yes, facts. George Pickens caught a stray. And no, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
George Pickens did not deserve that stray.
No,
brother.
he
Why
did.
you
No,
did
he
that?
did.
Why you just throw that man a stray? Like, what did George Pickens do to you? You're not even a Cowboy fan. That's hilarious.
He didn't try. So no, like I'm just like you could go, man. But like that when you play that and you look at him run that route, bro, I feel bad because like, damn, like now the world saw you at this moment, and I don't think that's the best representation of you as a player. But unfortunately, if you're gonna say you're great and we want greatness, that wasn't a good look.
Yeah, I agree. Same with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely.
All we do is talk about. All they've been doing is crown him king and call him the golden boy and all this stuff, only for in the biggest moment when it matters. Very similarly to Lamar Jackson. Even though it actually wasn't Lamar's fault they lost. It was the kicker's fault.
Yeah.
But underperformed when it mattered most. And you expect guys like that to, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I necessarily saw the effort that I needed to see from really all of the Bears wide receivers, including Loveland. I think the only wide receiver to me that I actually was impressed with that game was Luther Burton and Cole Kmet. But I think Zacchaeus caught a nice ball.
Yeah,
but other than that, Rome Odunze, huge drop that should have been a touchdown. DJ Moore, bad route drops. Even Colston Loveland, as much as I love him, and as great as he is, he was dropped. He had a few drops in the first half that were very big balls that if he would have caught those, it would have kept moving the chains for the Bears.
No. I'm saying you're absolutely right. Like Colston had a few, like it was like 4 throughout the game that like literally like he put it right on the money and he dropped them. So like that was a great take. Like you definitely can clip that. Like he like Loveland like had a lot of drops that could have like really did it for us. So like I agree with you. And then I think one more takeaway from the game, and this is more in the macro as opposed to the micro. It felt really good just rooting for something, and I won't say that I'm a skeptic, but sometimes it's really hard to find things to take your mind off stuff. And I think for me, I'm hyper aware of everything that's going on, and it's real heavy at times. And so it really felt good, honestly, man. Like Chicago had a rough go of it, not only with sports, but just with a lot of different stuff going on. And so, it felt really good to just be a fan and want something to work out. And I think that's the great thing about sports. You know what I mean? Like you saw that with this run of like, okay, man, like let's just go for it and let's believe. And even though, it was a heartbreaking loss, I was talking to my brother and I said, we always want to go on that lucky run, but that's not as common as people think. There's going to be a lot of 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. But I think Ben Johnson put it perfectly. You know what I mean? He was like, man, like it's too early to talk about next season because success is not always linear. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't mean if you almost made the conference finals this year that you're gonna make the conference finals next year. And I think that, we become numb to seeing greatness and thinking that everybody will get a chance to be great because we saw those Golden State runs. We thought that was normal because we saw the Kansas City Chiefs and, Pat Mahomes go through, and be electric and all those Tom Brady moments and those, magic, those Michael Jordan moments. I think like we've become numb to what it really takes when you don't have that clear path and the luck to do it fast. So, hats off to the Bears. Still a great, good season, a really good season. I wouldn't say great because I think, I would like to set the marker at a great season, at least being 2 postseason wins as opposed to 1. I think, it's real easy to set the bar low, but I think, expecting to be great and now going into an off season where, of course, there'll be some roster decisions to make, but, unlike the Chicago Bears of late, we're going into the off season with more answered questions than unanswered questions. So I really do appreciate that. I can't hear you.
My damn thumb. For me, I look at what Ben Johnson said today in his post season exit, as well as what Ryan Poles said. They both said that they thought that there were some changes that needed to be made as it pertains to the roster and the roster construction. Ryan Poles kind of spoke about DJ Moore and how he felt like other guys played harder because of him, but he did say that some changes might be coming. I thought what was really encouraging for me as we kind of wrap up this talk about the Bears was hearing Ben Johnson say, I'm Caleb Williams' number one believer. Because sometimes all it takes is for the right coach or the right person or the right situation of belief to really propel you and take you to another level. And last year we could clearly see with Matt Eberflus that Caleb Williams did not look like the guy we saw this year, whether it be the offense, the throws, the command, the leadership, the intangibles, the little things that we didn't see last year when Matt Eberflus was the coach of the Bears. So I give the Bears a lot of credit this year. I have no negative feelings walking away from this year. I was heartbroken after the game, but I have no negative feelings walking away from this season for the Bears this year. I thought that they did a tremendous job, and it's funny. I said this the other day. I said Caleb Williams changed my life, and I was talking to this woman about it, and she was kind of laughing. I was like, no, Caleb Williams really changed my life. Like, I have been waking up and watching football every day or every Sunday pretty much since I was 14 years old, 12 years old, something like that. And most of that time has been spent watching the Bears be mediocre and having mediocre quarterback play and mediocre offenses. So to have him come in, take command, show true leadership from front to back, like Jay Cutler was very good as a Bear, but Caleb Williams give you a different spark. He feels like that guy. You know what I mean? Rex Grossman was not good, but he wasn't great, but he wasn't awful either as a Bears quarterback. Got us to a Super Bowl, but we all knew he wasn't that guy. Like, I questioned after last year if Caleb Williams would be that guy, but you see coaching makes a difference with everything because that kid looked way different last year from a body language perspective. He was pouting. He was on the sidelines, mopey faced, all of that, versus this year when times got rough, you saw him in guys' face like, hey, like, I think it's one clip that's been going all around where everybody, like, if DJ Moore would have just did that, I think Caleb said, if you see that you got the beat, the safety beat on the shallow cross, hit it. And everybody's like, why did DJ Moore do that? Basically, he was saying, like, if you see that the safety is too far up and you doing like, and you run across the field, just run as hard as you can, and I'm gonna throw you the ball. And that's kind of what DJ didn't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even to see those, perspectives of leadership, and also to see everybody's reaction around the league. And I'm gonna say one last thing. I don't know if you know who Max Crosby is. You know who Max Crosby is for the Raiders?
Of course.
Yeah, if you get a chance, get a chance, search him on TikTok and look at that clip of him talking about Caleb Williams in that throw. And Ryan Poles, the Bears GM, when they asked him about Max Crosby today, he smiled and was complimentary and didn't say nothing else. So I will say this, Ryan Poles, if you can bring Max Crosby or Myles Garrett to the Chicago Bears with this team, we're going to win 2 or 3 of the next 4 championships. And I'm not being hyperbolic, and I'm done.
Hold on. And
clip that.
And
clip
listen,
that.
let me I gotta respond to that, and then I'm gonna run it out with one thing. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And you know what? You gave me goosebumps because everything about this was about Chicago. Even them bringing back DJ Ferris, it's Chicago. Like, it was bigger than just that. But you want me to tell you what I love about this? And I want to end on, giving Caleb his flowers. You want me to tell you, and listen to me. This is about to be the dopest callback, bro. And listen, respectfully, I don't have all these moments. I know you have all of these moments. So this is my first one where I get to reference an old episode, you feel me, with me and you. And so, like, it feels good. This goes back to our conversation about nicknames. And we both agreed that the people got to name you. And when he wrote his post and his reflection, he signed it Ice. And I said, he gets it. That was him acknowledging the nickname that the people gave him. You know what I mean? And what I love about that, man, is like, dog, that's so dope because he could have fought it. He could have just said Caleb. He could have said his number, but he acknowledged and he accepted and he took on the persona that the people gave him. And I think that's important because that's exactly how we viewed it. We said, man, that's the Iceman right there. That he got ice in his veins. And so, like, what I appreciate about that, to our old conversation about nicknames, is he let the moment happen. He walked out of this year with a playoff win under his belt. He walked out of this year being the unquestioned leader of this team. He walked out of this year with the coach vouching for him publicly and saying he believes in him. And he walked out of this year with a nickname for himself and for all the damn championships we finna go get. AI, clip that, please.
Yes, I think that was a great thing, and also that's why. And if I'm this mega superstar, I'm kind of upset because I was about to drop a whole album, and this man that came and stole my nickname, throwing a football. Drake, I'm just saying, you are not Iceman no more, bro. You might as well change that album title, bro. That belongs to Caleb Williams. All right, brother. Listen, I'm gonna just keep it a lean green bean with you, Drake. You are not the Iceman no more. There's only one Iceman. There's only one Iceman. But all right, let's go ahead. Let's move on real quick. Talk about the NFL, man. I thought that Bills game was a heartbreaker at the end. I don't really know what the NFL counts as a catch anymore, if I'm being honest. I think it sucks that Bo Nix broke his ankle kneeling down at the end of the game.
The second to last play, which is just goofy, crazy, ridiculous. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the Denver Broncos coach. I don't like that man, bro.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody likes Sean Payton but his family.
Man, like, for real. So, like, I hate that because, like, man, Bo Nix, you ain't do nothing to nobody, okay? You ain't did nothing to no. I don't like that you got 2 letters in your name, but it's cool, though. 2 letters in your first name, 3 in your last. Shit's weird. But you ain't do nothing to nobody. But Sean Payton, we don't like you. And it's cool because you don't like us. So you make it real easy to hate on your ass. You make it so easy because it's like, we know you don't like us. We don't like you. You the only, like, Jordan-sponsored sports-affiliated person that nobody cares for. Like, if they drop their colorway, that shit would go straight to the outlet. We don't like you. We don't like you, Sean Payton. So that's why your ass got a backup quarterback going to the conference championships. So shout out Bo Nix ankle.
The Patriots got a free slip and slide walk into the championship, man. Chargers play like crap. This man CJ Stroud threw 4, and I've never seen a quarterback throw 4 interceptions in a half.
In a playoff game. No, listen. Please finish. 4 interceptions. You want me to tell you what I love about that? If listen to me, in a half.
Technically, Caleb finished with 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in the playoffs.
Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Because the tape don't say that, okay? If technically DJ Moore finished the playoffs with an interception, okay? If we keep it in a bean, okay? I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. He had 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Yeah, that's you tried the 2 and 5. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I did. So, I'm sorry.
No, that's wild. So, yeah, absolutely. So what's the matchups for conference championships?
It's the Patriots and the Broncos versus the Seahawks and the Rams. I honestly think the Seahawks are gonna win the championship, which is gonna be crazy that Sam Darnold gonna be a champion.
You want me to tell you what's
wild?
Minnesota,
you gotta feel stupid as hell. You kept him for J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. McCarthy is as good at playing football as a bag of beans.
Listen to me. That game is either going to be the splitting image of the Chicago game for the Rams, and they're going to win by like 3-6, or they are going to get whooped. You hear me? And didn't I tell you that? Hey, time out. I told you. I said, hey, yo, the Seahawks have been balling. I said, I was like, I'm expecting if the Seahawks win, they win by a lot. I told you that because, dog, when they're clicking, dog, they're clicking. So I'm saying it's either going to be a close game like the Bears game or the Seahawks go walk away with it. I got the Patriots beating the Broncos. I'm going to say 29. No, I'm going to say 30-16. That's what I got
And
for.
what about the Seahawks game?
Seahawks, I'm going to do. I don't think it's going to be. You know what? I'm going to go. I'm gonna go close game. For Seahawks and Rams. I'm gonna go.
Send your face a little bit, bro.
I'm gonna say 21-17.
Okay. And for me, I'm actually gonna take Broncos Patriots to end in a very low scoring game. I'm gonna actually take the Broncos to win that game. I think the Broncos are gonna win that game. They're at home. I think they're gonna wind up winning that game 16-13. And for the Rams and the Seahawks, I'm actually going to take that game to be a shootout. And I think that game will end up somewhere around 38-35. And I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks to win. And I think they're going to wind up playing the Broncos in the Super Bowl. And I guarantee you, Bo Nix is going to limp his ass out there and play in that Super Bowl. I bet you.
Yeah.
If I'm Bo Nix and we make the Super Bowl, I don't give a fuck what you got to do to my leg. I don't like Michael Porter Jr. I don't know if you know this, but Michael Porter Jr. plays basketball with a leg brace that they give to stroke victims.
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
So if I'm Bo Nix, what the fuck do he got on his foot? Give me that.
Well, no,
I'm going out there.
He's gonna have a new foot. He's gonna be the first para athlete to win the Super Bowl.
The first time you ever seen somebody heal an ankle in 3 weeks. That's me if I'm Bo Nix. And if it ain't healed, I don't care. Reset it and let's get to the Super Bowl and we gonna win. Because the last thing they're gonna be expecting is for me to come back and play well at all. And I'm telling you, if Bo Nix come back for the Super Bowl, the Broncos gonna win the Super Bowl.
Okay, we'll see.
By the time that happens, because what is it? Wait a minute. So that happened last week.
5.
So 1 week. Then he get a week.
That's like 5.
No, 4 weeks. Because what is it?
4.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Because it was last week. Then they play this upcoming. So that'll be a week after that. Then they get a week off.
Yeah,
because media week.
Like
then
4
they
or
get
5.
It'll be 3 weeks. It'll be 3-4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I got. But we'll see. Listen, clip that. Make sure we go create a graphic with both of our predictions for the conference championships. We'll see how that shake out. But either way it goes, to hell with all the bums because it ain't the Bears. So
yeah. So do you want to talk about the continued madness that is America trying to buy Greenland?
I mean,
and did you also see that man post on his social media platform a map that he was sitting in front of that has the American flag all over Greenland, Canada, America, Mexico, and parts of South America? The American imperialist regime has officially begun. And if you aren't ready for it, get ready for it, because they are not playing games anymore.
No, I think that, but you know what though? Here's the thing. I think the only unfortunate thing about this, first of all, I think they're deathly serious. So if you think they're playing, they're not. I think the problem is the only people not believing it are Americans. Every other country, they're not taking this lightly. You know what I mean? Like everybody else. And I'm not saying like other citizens per se, but I'm just saying like other administrations and other countries' governments are not joking. Like you're watching this in real time. They're watching and waiting and like they're planning, because here's the problem. The problem is, they're telegraphing moves. So the U.S. is just so, ridiculous, like, and it's going against covert ops now.
No hubris anymore. No hubris. It's completely gone. And I'm gonna let you finish.
So I think the only issue is that the only people making light or not believing a lot of the things that are going on right now are Americans. This is not a game. We are 1 year into a 4-year administration. And, you know, how long until you take it serious? How many threats do you need to hear? How much violence? How much dissent? How much division? When is enough enough? Because um, it's not funny. It's serious. Um, and as a result, the the entire world, um, and the axis of power will never be the same again. We won't be able to go back to how we used to be. So yeah, I don't find it funny. I don't think they're joking. Um, they're saying the quiet parts out loud now.
Oh
Um,
yeah, they don't care anymore.
yeah,
They're
no,
brazen.
no, yeah. I mean, when you have, like it's so brazen that the things that we hear and see have completely desensitized us. That's the worst part about it, bro. It's like in 1 week you'll get headlines and news, 8 different things that would, if it would have happened one time in a different administration, it would have been a controversy around the world. But this is just normal now. It's a clown show. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I was talking to someone about this yesterday, and I said this in not in a and not in a mean way, but in a literal way. I was like, if I would have known that my daughter would be being raised in a completely different America than I was raised in, and her life is going to be spent in war and chaos and financial turmoil, I wouldn't have had children. Because the one thing that I believe that people that are responsible parents do, is that happening? I mean, obviously your son is older than my daughter, but so hopefully he'll, by the time things are completely all the way different, you know what I mean, he'll at
Mm-hmm.
least be around the age of a man, or at least becoming a man. And also he'll still have his father around to kind of make that happen. Whereas like with my daughter, like my daughter's 5, like she's got 13 years before she's an adult. And by 2029, I mean by 2039, I don't believe that she's going to be living in any version of America that I lived in growing up. And that makes me sad because I had a great time as a kid growing up in America, and going outside and having fun and doing what I want to do. And I always had multicultural friends, Chinese friends, Asian friends, Japanese friends, white friends, Indian friends. It didn't matter. Like to me, multiculturalism has always kind of been a part of my life because of the fact, number one, that I'm black, but number two, because my mother was a school teacher and she always did her best to try to make sure that I had a multicultural experience and not just like kind of an existence that doesn't that didn't live outside of Inglewood or where we grew up in or where I grew up in different
Mm-hmm.
parts of Chicago. So for me to kind of, and what's funny, I saw this clip of, and I'm gonna tie this back to Greenland, but I saw this clip last night of this young Asian boy, and he was playing soccer with his friends, and he was in the car crying. And the mom is like, she's videotaping, which I hate when people videotape children crying. I think that's weird, but that's just me. And she was like, "What's wrong?" And he was crying. He was just like, "Yeah, like these mean white kids that I'm playing soccer with, the goalie. He was telling me that I don't belong in America because I'm not American." He's like, "But I was born in America." He was like, "I was born in America. I've never lived anywhere else. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
America. This is my home." He's like a little 8, 9 year old kid. And then he told me that he was gonna deport me, that Trump was gonna come get us and my family and deport me. And I just don't understand why he needs to be so mean and why he has to act like that. And seeing that video, one, made me sad, but two, it made me realize like some of the youth are gonna be okay. And also, a lot of what we see is
Yep.
learned behavior. And even what you see with this administration is learned behavior.
Yep.
But unfortunately, and I'm not even getting into the whole right or left because I feel like they both the same bird, different sides of the bird. But
Yep.
I believe that all of these people that are in power are trying to be authoritarian, fascist, technocratic dictators. And I think that we often look at the guy that is the same color as the shirt that I have on and the things that he says, But he is not emboldened to say those things if other people behind closed doors are not saying those things around him or are not providing and feeding into that energy. I can't sit around you and talk negatively about women and black people and Hispanics and all these different racial groups and all of this stuff without you saying, yo, what are you talking about?
Like you gotta chill.
Or excommunicating me because you don't like my ideology. So I say that to say, like, he is like the vacuum of the chamber. He's not the whole chamber is way bigger than that. He's just the thing that's sucking up all of the energy and feeding that beast of a vacuum to keep it running through and sucking up everything within its power. And the unfortunate part about this is that I've been spending the last 5 years since COVID researching world history, world politics, American politics, different societies. I just spent the last 3 months watching a 27+ long college lecture series about the world and humanity and war and philosophy, kind of tying it all together into a lot of these modern day things that we see. And what I learned from that is that these societies in which we look at and they reach the pinnacle often fall because people get arrogant, they get stupid, they get brash, and they get overzealous and overconfident. And if you look at those 5 things, that is what America is doing right now. Now, I will say this. Vladimir Putin, for some reason, been agreeing a lot with Trump, even about Greenland. He's like, oh, well, when they bought Alaska for us, they bought it for $72 million. If you look at the amount of land that they have in Greenland and you calculate it the same thing, America should only be buying Greenland for $200 million. When this fool talking about giving them what, $100 billion or something like that? And $10,000 checks. And it's Americans starving, and you know this because of what you do and how many people you and the org help to feed on a weekly basis. Like, people out here starving, and it's cold. So to me, all this does is just show the continued arrogance of what's happening in our society, and that my child will not grow up in the same America that I grew up in. And it's funny because my mother tells me all the time, she's like, yeah, this country ain't the same as when you was growing up as a kid. And I'd be like, yeah, it's not. She's like, it's definitely not the same as when I was a kid. She's like, but it's a lot different than when I was a kid and you were a kid than it is now. And I find that to be very alarming. And I pray for our children and for the youth of the future, because they are really the only thing that will be able to save us as a society. And it's the young people. It really is, because these old people that are in charge clearly have one path, and that is destruction and authoritarianism.
Yeah. On that,
you can clip
that. No, it's cool, man. And we ain't even gonna worry about the Ukraine thing.
But actually, I got something I want to do something real quick. Because remember how we was doing that Dion reacts? Speaking of hubris and all that, let's do something funny. I got something for you. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see if I can share it real quick.
Let me see.
This is what this guy dang blasted administration is. All right, you ready to see? This guy was driving down the street. Hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on.
There we go.
Hold on. I can't see it. Okay.
Let me see if I can skinny it out. I can't. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me skinny this out a little bit. There we go. All right, cool.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, wait. I know, not yet. Here we go. You see it now?
All right. Yep.
This guy was driving down the street and flipped off this woman
because of the political bumper sticker. And there, let's see. Oh.
Look at the tires spinning around. God damn it!
Okay. All right, so listen, pause it. Because this is what what I want
it was at this moment he knew.
Now listen, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
I want you to go back a little bit. Just a little bit. Go back a little bit. Right there. No. Go forward. A little bit more. Stop right there. Stop. So I want to acknowledge he's so fucking stupid he was already too close to that car, and his head is turned. I want you to see, because you can see the little light gap under the truck with the next car. He was already too close. So the fact that, like, because remember,
yeah, I didn't even realize that there was another car. Oh, yeah,
exactly. So listen, they say if your head is turned 1 second, if you're going like 60 miles or 50 miles per hour, that's like 70 or 80 feet or some shit. So his head is turned, scanning, looking to confirm that he's going to lift up his middle finger. And when he hits this car, that is not a normal.
It's only been 1 second. It's only literally, if you look at the video, it's only 1 second.
Bro, that is not a normal car accident. That's not a fender bender, bro.
Yeah, he gonna have to pay for that.
Oh,
he gonna definitely have to pay for that. He have to pay for that. The insurance ain't gonna play no games with him on that. But all right, cool. Go ahead.
Bring my camera back in.
Yeah,
here, but sorry, there you go. But listen, the funny thing about that, man, is that's just a lesson. Like, you so consumed by hate. And now the worst part
now you got a new lesson. Now you got a new lesson to record.
And you hear me? Hold on. And you flipped her off, and now you stuck on her block.
Yeah, you can't
go nowhere. You can't even go nowhere. You lucky, because it was my house. We would flood you. You know what? No, we wouldn't. Violence is not that. You man.
Oh, I thought you were talking about putting water in his car with your garden hose.
Yeah, exactly.
You would have flooded his car.
Yeah, because you know what Denzel said. I'm from up the way. I'm gonna leave with something. Okay. Oh man. Hey man,
right.
Listen, man.
What's the hottest sport right now?
Listen.
I'm gonna keep it G with you. I think baseball is still the hottest sport right now.
No, listen.
It was football until everybody got hurt in the playoffs.
Nah, listen. Let me cook.
Until my team lost too.
Facts. So let's acknowledge that baseball has been, carrying the mantle. Because listen, the Dodgers are like hot as truffle oil right now. It's just they done bought everything. They done bought everything. But I will say this. Right now,
the Dodgers trying to buy Greenland.
Trying. No. The Dodgers don't try to buy nothing. They buy, okay? So if they want Greenland, now, listen, I would be more worried if the Dodgers said they wanted Greenland than Trump saying. Because listen, the Dodgers are going to pay, okay? They going to get what they want. Listen, the hottest sport right now, hands down, it is football. Now, the injuries didn't help, but I think baseball has been carrying the mantle and being consistent, whereas football is kind of. But I think like this year, a lot of different franchises had great years, and the parity really helped the football brand. So having the Bears, I tell people all the time, the Bears being good again is great for the NFL and great for sports. You know what I mean? Because this is one of, the most storied franchises back to the beginning. So them being good helps the NFL. Like they said, the first round game was the highest viewed game ever. 34 million, something like that. And that's just what they, that one that
ain't streaming.
No, I was just gonna say that ain't nothing else. So anyways, but I will say this, man. Shout out to that boy Kurt in Indiana. Because listen, let me explain some 16-0, okay? And Kurt had that boy Mendoza looking like Cam at Auburn. You hear me? Okay, that run to ice the game, listen, first of all, that is somebody I want to play for. That is somebody who not only wants to, because one thing about Kurt is he expects to be successful. Kurt Signati, the coach of Indiana Hoosiers, the football team, the national champions. What I love about him is he expects to win wherever he is. So what I love about that is now you have a coach that expects his team to win. But then they go, and when they introduce him, they said, What do you have to say to those people who don't know who you are? He said, I win, Google me. And then proceeded to have a 14-win season that turned into a 16-0 season with the school's first ever Heisman winner and their national championship. Let me, you AI, you gotta clip this, because let me just say this. And I know you appreciate this. Bro, I know you enough. I've seen so many of your takes. I don't care who you had as winning the Heisman. Everybody talked about Archie, whatever. But let's be clear. Not only did that man like go to the national championship with his Heisman winning quarterback, but nobody left that game wondering why he got that Heisman. Okay? You didn't hear one person, one pundit, one critic, one analyst, one commentator say, man, great job to this team, but I still don't think he's the Heisman. The boy balled out. And what I love about that is not only did he go to Indiana, which is historically a basketball school, not only did he put the Big Ten on his back after my boy got out of Dodge for cheating at Michigan and left for the Chargers, okay, and left the side chick whisperer as the head coach. This man passing out Plan Bs, Jesus Christ. But then he took a 14-win season and upped it into a perfect season that nobody is saying they didn't deserve. Because last year, after 14 wins, everybody was like, oh, they had a soft schedule. This year, the man answered back with wins. Went into to the national championship with a great Miami team. And shout out to Miami for never giving up, never folded. They fought the entire game. But y'all went up against a dog. And having that man, I'm sorry, when I see Kurt, that remind me of being somebody I want to play for. So shout out to, I just want to say, like, right now, even though college football is over, I think they left it in the like right now, football is having a renaissance, not only because of parity, but because it's not parity without substance. It's parity with results. And when you get parity with results, you get champions that deserve to be champions. And that's what I appreciate about it. Because you remember the last couple of years, you got, schools that were making the playoff that weren't from Power 5 schools, and they getting blown out. Well, what I appreciate about this is Indiana came and they did not play with nobody. They didn't play with anybody. They went in, man, the man got the chip, got the Heisman, and now he chilling. But also, I know he ain't done. So everybody in college football is going to have to hear, and see that man, because he ain't playing. Like, when you see somebody that's starting to run, he's starting to run.
He not coming back. He going to go to the Raiders. He going to get picked by the Raiders. But I do think that he can now be considered in the class of guys that have had arguably one of the greatest college seasons of all time. And I will say this. I know a lot of people think he's corny. I'm talking about Mendoza and is too happy and all of that. Like, man, in this day and age of all of this darkness and sadness, you should want a young man like him to be happy and celebrating God and being, being thankful for his teammates. I heard him say multiple times over the last couple of weeks that he would die for any one of his teammates. Like, them the type of people you want to be in a foxhole with. So yep. I give him credit. I think the run at the end was one of the more sensational plays in football history, and I think that'll be an image that the state of Indiana as a whole will never forget. And I will say this: I was skeptical of the college football playoff. I like the new format better than I liked the last one because I actually felt like you got to see the two best teams play each other this year. I don't believe that there were two other college football teams better than Miami and then Indiana this year. And I think that the tournament actually allowed the top teams to prove it versus before where you would just have consensus picks amongst coaches and those two teams will play for the championship. So now I do feel like the best teams in college are at the point where they're playing for the championship. So I'm thrilled by, college football. But as you mentioned to me earlier, the NBA is kind of like taking a back seat. But to me, the NBA is taking a back seat because I can't just cut on my TV and turn it on no more.
No,
It's
not
all the
just no.
million different apps.
But listen, but not just that, because I think I'm gonna be honest with you, right? The problem is not that the NBA has just done an okay job, right? Like this is not just about how bad I think the NBA has done with retaining market share. It's also about how great the other leagues and other sports have done with not only diversifying their revenue share, but also, like they feed the hot thing, and the hot thing is delivering. So it's just like, in every sport they invest in what they think will pay off. You know what I mean? And so the issue is that you have, in college football, you have Indiana. If Indiana would have, went 7-5 this year, right? It would have justified the hate that happened last year. It wouldn't have been good for college football because you have to have the public believe in that parity for every other fan base to buy in more. And so now you have this thing where you have this lunatic leading Indiana who doubled down on the hate, beat everybody. You got a God-fearing quarterback who's looking like a demon on the field. You know what I mean? And so now you have this thing where it's really paying off, and the investment is paying off for the future. I just don't think that what you said is one part of a bigger issue. Is just now you have this thing, because you remember, that 2 or 3 years where, because everybody was sitting out, everybody got upset from the NBA. When everybody was sitting out, they were healthy scratches. But the great thing about it was that also led into what? The Golden State run. And so the Golden State run, the NBA invested in it and it pumped it up and it worked. But now you have this issue where now people are getting injured in the NBA. The attention is not there. They cannot just cut the game on. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this old regime is going out. And so I just think, like, every single bad thing that could happen. And then, not to mention, imagine being a commissioner of the NBA and then boom, the NFL, you got Caleb going crazy. Boom. You know what I'm saying? You got college football, you got Indiana going on a run. Boom. Baseball, you got the Dodgers, going on a run. You know what I'm saying? Then you have so I think it's a combination of, bad luck, bad, investment, and focus on what matters. And I think the NBA is lost right now. I think the NBA, honestly, is having an identity crisis with who they want to be and how they're going to stack up. Because if they don't get it fixed quick, you're going to look up in the next 5 years will be sewn up by every other sport that have figured it out. And I understand that some of that is not the NBA's fault. But, man, right now, the NFL, for better or for worse, you have a conference championship with all new teams. That is going to be a new champion. It's going to be younger players with rings. You know what I mean? And that's great for the sport. The NBA, even when you got a new team winning, don't nobody care after a couple days. And so it's not sticking. It's just there's no stickiness there. And I agree with you. Accessibility is definitely important, but also we'll do what we can to watch and get access to what we want. And I just think that, like you said, if I can't cut it on, I'm not trying to find it. But look at how many different ways people tried to find that Bears game. You know what I mean? Look at how many different ways people have been watching college football. Look at how many different ways, people are watching. And baseball has historically been boring. Look at Shohei. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening. And I think the NBA is lost right now. I'm not going to look back at this last couple of years and say, this was an NBA couple of years. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I do think that night in and night out watching Victor Wembanyama. I watched the Rockets versus Spurs game last night. That's really, really good, especially as Wemby ascends to becoming the best player in the NBA. I still think he's in that top. I think now he's finally in the top 5 range. I don't think he's the best yet. I think he's still got some guys in front of him. So I think they'll eventually come back in the heyday. But also I think that with the TV deals ending and all this other stuff happening, we just had a changing of the guard. And unfortunately, LeBron is still around, kind of muddying those waters because I've been saying for years the game will not move forward until LeBron James has retired, because he's literally the last player left from 2 generations ago. Like Steph Curry at this point in time is about like a year or two away from being 2 generations ago, and LeBron being 3 generations. Really, in the NBA, generations is like every 8 years. LeBron is damn near his 3rd generation in the NBA. And if he keeps sticking around, might be his 4th. So I think that's part of the reason. Actually, we can pivot to that and talk about LeBron versus Jeanie Buss. Jeanie Buss and the Buss family sold the LA Lakers to the Dodgers owner for $10 billion. But a report today came out from a reporter by the name of Baxter Holmes. He's an LA-based reporter, highly credentialed, highly trusted and sourced. Basically, some bullet points from that article said that Jeanie was disgruntled about LeBron James' outsized ego. She felt that Clutch Sports had too much power and control. She felt like LeBron felt like he was considered to be a savior of the Lakers. She felt like LeBron lacked accountability over Russell Westbrook being traded to and from the Lakers. She said that she privately mused about not giving him a contract extension and trading him. She felt LeBron was not grateful to the Lakers that they drafted Bronny. And she gave him his contract extension, the last one, because she felt like they would have bad PR. Rich Paul responded to that, but I want to get your thoughts on that first, and then I'm going to play a little bit of Rich Paul's response to that so you can respond to that. What are your thoughts on Jeanie Buss, on LeBron? I've been saying it for years. Is it time for LeBron to go home? AI, get ready to clip this.
Absolutely. I think that, I'll be honest with you, I think when you look at what's going on with LeBron, I don't think it's aging well. No, hop back in, bro. No, I want to, I feed off your energy. And I think that it's crazy because I remember 2 years ago, you know what I mean? Me and you having a colorful dialogue about that. And I can admit to you that your take has aged way better, you know what I mean, than I would have thought. Because here's the issue. The issue is that time, answers all of the questions. And I think that, if you are a NBA fan, I think that the issue here is that we're seeing something that isn't aging well, and that's whenever things hit that rough patch. You know what I mean? Like LeBron tries to absolve himself of responsibility and accountability. And the problem there is that, Jeanie Buss can't be 100% wrong. You know what I mean? I think so for you to hear that, number one, I always look at someone's position to what they're talking about. You know what I mean? I think that's important. I think that, your positionality allows me to decide if you are a subject matter expert on what you're speaking on. She is. That is somebody who not only, and to be fair, to Jeanie Buss, she inherited her love of basketball and being a basketball ambassador from her father. So I am not going to dismiss her as just as a woman's opinion, and I'm going to view it through the lens of an owner, basketball ambassador, and someone who understands the ins and outs of all of that. And so if you look through that lens, I think she's absolutely right. I think that at no point, all of these things coming out, and LeBron never thanking the Lakers. He didn't thank them. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't have to do that. And so it's some of these things, you remember that moment where it wasn't cool anymore to be coy and have a mystique, because you realize that it was emptiness behind it, which is why, honestly, when you look at the regime from that era, they're not aging well. If you look at LeBron, if you look at Drake, if you look at all of these people who try to be, mysterious and like want you to think about what they're doing. Don't nobody care about that shit. Are you a good person? And the problem is now I'm not so sure that when it comes to being, a business partner outside of just making money, I don't know if LeBron cares about leaving the game better than he found it. I think he cares about leaving with his legacy.
He says he does.
No, no.
He
I don't care.
believes he is. No,
Right, right.
no, I'm
Yeah.
not arguing with you. I'm
No,
saying
right.
he believes he is, and he says those things. Which is part of the reason why he says, "Oh, I'm the greatest." So this is when I knew I became because he thinks that he's elevating the game by staying around. You can continue.
And also, I don't even disagree with that part. I think that, what you have to do is early on, you have to have people that can protect you when you're trying to be great. But then you have to be careful that those people don't become an echo chamber for your ego, which is why I never get offended when me and you argue. We can argue all day, but like I also know that after when it's quiet, I can think about that. Which is why, like, there's been times I've came to you after and I apologized and I talked about my thought process, but like I could be totally off the mark. And so my issue is that, you know, we don't get to dictate our legacy. And the problem is LeBron controlled so much of all of his operation that he thinks he's going to control how his legacy is perceived. And I'm sorry, but he's not. And so it's left us in this place of seeing the degradation and almost the natural progression is not occurring. It's okay if you get worse, but also, what if your points per game dipped below 20, but we see you trying with everything to go out with a championship? I would respect that. But it's not. It's when it's going good, you're happy. And then when y'all hit that road bump, you step back and you act shadowy and you act like it's not on you. And I just think that, something that I say a lot about what I'm doing is I have the responsibility of knowing and acknowledging the role that I play in the industry that I'm in. And I think that it's still about Team LeBron, and it's not about the team NBA. And so as a result, like, you're never going to average below 20 points. But where's that inspired last season? You know what I mean? Or that season we could point to where you put it all on the line to really go for it. If you got Bronny drafted to go for it, then go for it. But to act like the Lakers had to do it, they didn't. And to have the bravado, like, everybody has to respect it, they don't. The beautiful thing about this is, when it comes to being a public figure, you take the good and the bad. But I think he protected it so much that he's lost like a connection to the people, almost like with Drake with hip hop. It's like, you separate yourself for so long, you lose the essence of what you represent. Now you no longer represent, and don't get me wrong, I know you're rich and a billionaire, whatever. But at some point, LeBron represented the NBA and the NBA fan. And the reason why, Shohei can represent baseball and the baseball fan is because he's accepting it. You know what I mean? Even, you know what I'm saying? Like the reason why, you know what I mean? Like Caleb and the Bears worked is because Caleb accepted it. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? He stepped back to work on himself with Ben while the rest of the team took the praise. And then towards the end of the year when they needed him, he was sure of who he was and the role that he played. LeBron does not have a role right now. And so now all of this coming out, number one, I'm not going to dismiss it because all of it is not fake. But more importantly, at what point do you at what point can you acknowledge that you kind of let the game down so you could right the ship before you sail off? And I think that's, like you
But
said,
that's the problem. There is no riding the ship because you cannot build a championship caliber team with two players being paid $55 million a year. So if you wanted to right the ship before you sailed off into the sunset, you take 25 and let that other 25 go to building out a roster construction that could build a championship roster. Because what do we hear every single year from LeBron James and his agent, Rich Paul, for the last few years? That they don't have what they need to compete for a championship. Well, 40-plus-year-old guy who's been making money in the league for so long that, like, you don't need – it's not like LeBron is going to ever have a shortage of money. And I'm not counting his pockets. But I'm saying if you were going to spend the last few years of your career speaking about legacy, but you're not proactively doing what you need to do to improve that legacy, then it is not the organization's fault. It's your fault. And I want to quickly play this clip from Rich Paul where he's talking a little bit about Jeanie Buss and the Lakers and them and all that stuff, because I think that it's actually valuable to hear this guy and what he's saying. Hold on. There we go.
Article written every day.
Can you hear it?
Who gives a shit?
Yes.
I don't. Right. And you don't know what's true, what's not true, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Right. But what I will say is I seen some of the stuff that came out about it. And obviously, they talked about different scenarios in terms of the power that we may have. And
I'm going to just stop it real quick. You're the agent of LeBron James. Yeah. Why are you talking about this 4 hours after the article is out?
And keep going. Let's finish it.
I'm going to keep going. But, what do we do? Like, have we gotten this far in sports where the agents are instantly going on podcasts, their own podcast? Not even you call it to a radio show. And they ask you on a radio show, so you like, oh, you can forgive that. This is a whole setup. Do they film this every day?
Whatever.
Yeah, play like
Here's
30
all I
more
know.
seconds.
All I know is this. There's an appreciation for guys like Michael Irvin. There should be, our legends. And there damn sure should be appreciation for a guy like LeBron, right? And I think that oftentimes people decide what not to do for reasons that don't really have substance to it. It's just like a
Is this
thing.
relating to the bus infighting?
Yeah. You didn't read the article.
Right.
The article talked about there's an issue, or there was some issue with LeBron and Clutch having too much power and all these type of things.
So basically what he's saying is, and I'll give you this reporter speak, they too busy fighting amongst themselves in that building to be talking about that we got power over them.
Yeah. So
which to me at this point, I'm going to be honest, and I've been saying this for years, the writing for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers has been on the wall for a few years. As that article stated, she didn't want to give him the extension. But he is just holding them hostage.
But listen,
it's time to go, LeBron.
Here's the thing.
And clip that.
I already talked about it, you know what I mean? But I will touch on what Rich did and why it was a misstep. I'm not talking about historical movement. I'm not talking about his podcast. I'm talking about right then and there. He wasn't clear on what he wanted to say. And in real time, because of the nature of his relationship, he was constrained. And there were certain things he couldn't say. And, this goes back to last week when he made those comments about Austin Reeves, as if he's not representing one of Austin Reeves' teammates and one of the most powerful agents in the game. And so, again, at what point will LeBron and the regime take responsibility for how heavy your voice is? Why are you talking as if what you say does not matter? And then when people call you on it, you cannot be powerful, seek power. And then when people respect your power, you act like you have none. That is something that you just can't happen.
Are you talking about the Orange Man, or are you talking about Rich Paul? Because all I hear is, I treated them very well, and nobody treated me well at all. I gave them everything.
And so, just wrapping up there, what's unfortunate is when Rich is talking about it. Number one, let me break. First of all, and you know media. I know journalism, and we both consume a lot of media, and we create a lot of content. You want me to tell you how you know that clip, and how them talking about that was bullshit? Because you are doing that show. Let me break this down for you, people. He's doing that show with one of the most studied journalists in sports, Max Kellerman, who everybody says has integrity, who everybody says loves being a commentator and loves being in sports. And they say is one of the most studied analysts in the game. Can you agree on that, Thomas? Right? So watch this.
Yeah, 100%.
Watch this. Let me walk it down. So Max responding and not knowing what you're alluding to says a couple things. Number one, it says you didn't say anything worth listening to. Number two, you didn't clear it with them. You used that moment and went into that moment to try to get your point off. And then when he asked about what you were referring to, when you spoke about it as if he knew about it. So that means you two didn't discuss that. So that only lets me know that, okay, you're trying to get a point across. You're trying to use your platform to release the statement, but you had no statement to release. And that's where you should have shut up. And so I'm just saying to the average person that's paying attention, you got to look at all of these things. Who's involved is important. What's this involving is important. How it happened and chronologically is important. And who's telling you the story is definitely important because nobody's telling 100% truth. And the problem is LeBron and LeBron's camp, especially the last couple of years, refutes and rebuffs everything. So it makes it extremely hard to trust it.
Yep, 100%. I got no rebuttal for that, no argument for that. And we can leave that there. Let's move on. Last topic of the day. We got Mike Will and Hit Boy are going to do an official versus producer to producer. Now, I'm going to just go name some of the hits Mike Will got, then I'm going to name some of the hits Hit Boy got, and then you let me know who you think going to win this battle. So we're gonna start off with Mike Will. Mike Will made Way Too Gone by Future and Young Jeezy. He made Ain't No Way Around It by Future. Tupac Back. Lamborghini Mercy. Turn on the Lights. No Lie by Future and Drake. Bands That Make Her Dance. Pull It Up by Rihanna. Love Me by Lil Wayne. Show Out by Juicy J. Bugatti by Ace Hood, Future, Rick Ross. We Can't Stop by Miley Cyrus. He did, let's keep going down. He did Move That Dope by Future, No Flex Zone, No Type, Throw Some More by Ray Shrimmer. He did Black Beatles, which was a #1 hit by Ray Shrimmer that is now 8-time platinum. And he produced Humble and DNA by Kendrick Lamar. And obviously he's still dropping bangers. And then we got Hit Boy.
Can I?
Go ahead.
All right, so
you want to do Hit Boy?
Yes. Let's first of all,
I'm on Wikipedia, his production discography.
No,
you got it.
No, I got you. No, I got something up. You know what I mean? But let's just start because I'm not gonna lie. This track list gonna get a little crazy.
Go ahead.
Negroes in Paris.
Oh yeah. Insane.
Let's be clear.
That's crazy. That song never went #1. Nuts.
No. Listen. Then you got Sicko Mode, Travis Scott. Then you got Click with Kanye, Jay, and Big Sean. Backseat Freestyle, Kendrick Lamar. Goldie, ASAP Rocky, Ultralight Beam, Kanye. Racks in the Middle, Nipsey Hussle. You got Otis by Jay-Z and Kanye. Grinding All My Life, Nipsey Hussle. Famous, Big Sean. Suge from The Baby. Good Life, Kanye. The Story of OJ, Jay-Z. You got Racks with YC feature Future. You got bruh, Heart of the City, Jay-Z. You got Hustle and Motivate, Nipsey Hussle. You got Last Time That I Checked, Nipsey Hussle. You come on, man. You got Rock Boys, Jay-Z. Man, listen.
Yeah.
I ain't go.
I didn't know Hit Boy produced on Cowboy Carter.
Dog.
He
Let me-
helped produce Texas Hold'em.
So,
How? I want to know what the hell he did on that song.
hey.
Who you got? Come on, Mike Will, Hit Boy. Based on them catalogs, they both going. That's why I say that's gonna be a great. Like before, when I first mentioned you, like what about? I'm like, no, that's gonna be a heater of a battle.
So here's my problem. After I pick, I'm gonna go for diversity of the bangers, meaning like more artists. So I'm going to pick Mike Will Made It. Only because when you look at the artists, Mike Will Made It, when you're talking about hits, we're talking about Ye, we talking about Look Alive, Block Boy JB, and Drake, No Problem, Chance the Rapper, Humble, Kendrick Lamar, Formation, Beyonce. So for me, you got No Limit, G-Eazy. You know what I'm saying? So what I'll say is this. What I love about it is the diversity, like you said, Miley Cyrus, Drake, Kanye, Chance the Rapper, Bugatti, Ace Hood. You got Juicy J, Kendrick, Beyonce, Lil Wayne, Rihanna. And then with Hit Boys, it's real, Kanye, Nipsey, and Jay-Z heavy. So what I'm going to personally pick Mike Will Made It because of like how many people he got hits for. Like that's a metric that people used to talk about Drake with. They used to say like, man, Drake got X amount of number ones and artists' highest charting record. So for me, what I love about Mike Will Made It is like he did it across different types of artists, not just like the royalty of it. I'm not saying that Hit Boy didn't have to, work his way up at all. Like I have nothing bad to say about Hit Boy. I just prefer like Ray Shremmerd, like Mike Will made them into that. You know what I'm saying? So like all of these things, like when you think about that, you know what I mean? Like you pull it up for Rihanna, but even Formation with Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? It's just something that even like Look Alive, Block Boy JB. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like it's just something entrepreneurial around like Mike Will Made It. Like he made some bets that paid off. So that's why I'm picking. Who you picking?
I am going to pick Hit Boy, but
I knew it.
I am going to pick Hit Boy because I've lived in LA for 14 years and Hit Boy has helped produce a lot of my soundtrack to my LA life. And also I believe that Hit Boy is a master artist on his own. And I think that his track list is going to wind up being better than Mike Will Made It. Because I think this is where Mike Will is going to lose his battle. He going to play 2 Miley Cyrus songs, and we don't care about that. The Verzuz community don't care about hearing We Can't Stop or Jay's on My Feet. Come get like me. We don't want to hear that, man. Mike Will don't play them 2 songs in that Verzuz. Leave Miley at home.
But listen, here's the thing. What I will say is this. I'm fine with both of us picking each one, but what do we both know about the Verzuz? It's about, do they understand how the Verzuz is going to go? Because we don't want another Locks versus Dipset where one side clearly understands the audience and the setting. So both of them got 20 bangers. Like you said, what 20 are you going to pull out? Because if Mike will pull out his 20 and just straight bangers, depending on who it is, and Hit Boy pull out his 20, this will be one of the greatest verses ever. But the problem is, and you know this, we go into these verses and they pick songs where you like, how would you not play this? Or after this, why didn't you go there? So at this point, we all don't believe in the sanctity of the verses no more, because some artists believe in their best material on the cutting room floor. So I'm just gonna say, I'm with you. If Mike will tweak and take 10% of his songs and play Miley Cyrus, he deserves to lose. You're absolutely right. But if he come with Ray Shrimmer, then going to, well, first of all, he can't play Beyonce Formation because I know those rights are sewn up, brother. She ain't letting you play that.
Hey, she might let him play
Nah,
it.
listen,
She might let him play it.
listen, respectfully.
I mean,
okay?
that's one of her biggest bangers. You gotta let him play it.
No. What did you say? That is one of her biggest records. Okay.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody
Who made it?
Hey,
Mike Will made it.
Hey, big dog. How many people take that Beyonce song and just play it without permission? I'm just saying. Come on now. Don't act like they won't clink that motherfucker real quick. They go, he probably already got the cease to desist. He probably already got the text like, hey, Nick, don't you play that song? Okay. If you want to be on Cowboy Carter too, you better, don't mess this up now. Don't play that song. Because you know Jay-Z ain't never did no verses. Beyonce ain't gonna do no verses because they're above it. So you know they songs ain't is like you, and you know Swiss and Tim don't want no smoke with Jay and Beyonce. So you know they gonna make sure that track list don't involve none of them. That's like a motherfucker playing a Jay-Z verse at a verses. Yeah, okay. Boy, that motherfucker ain't got, they go take that off air immediately. Jay-Z gonna call Bezos like, all right, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I'm just saying.
That's funny. All right, who your dreamer of the week?
Hey man, listen. I gotta say it, okay? Even though it was a tough week for the Bears, dreamer of the week gotta go to Caleb. Gotta go to Caleb. Dreamer of the week for me, Caleb Williams. To when all hope seemed lost, Caleb Williams threw a touchdown at the end of regulation that I promise you, when we're done being emotional, will be one of the greatest throws in the greatest, most clutch scenarios. You're talking about time expiring, the end of a playoff game. You need to throw up a touchdown or it's just over. I got to get it to Caleb. Listen, if we live for moments like that, you wish you can have a moment where you can deliver for the team. And even though the game didn't go out in their favor, they wouldn't have even had a chance to get to overtime if it wasn't for Caleb throwing that ball. So I'm gonna just say, Caleb, you dream of the week, man. You can't fight it. You got the designation. I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but if you take it to 7-Eleven, they might give you a Slurpee. Okay, let's keep moving.
Yep. Lesson of the week. My lesson of the week. Keep praying. Keep praying.
Hey, it's been a rough year because
keep praying.
My lesson of the week is simple. And AI, you can clip
and then
this.
You can end it with the lesson and affirmation and outro it.
Absolutely. Lesson of the week for me is being intentional as a leader. So making sure that you understand why you're doing what you're doing. You're speaking with intention, with clarity. You can stand behind everything you're saying. You can stand behind everything you're doing. And you understand that you're going to bear the brunt of whether it works out or not. So just making sure as a leader, you are intentional, not only with your actions, but with your words. And the affirmation of the week, I'm going to take it back to my boy Jesse, that I am somebody. Remind yourself that you are somebody. You deserve love. You deserve grace. You deserve space. You deserve hugs, kisses, foot rubs, and back rubs. You deserve that position. You deserve to make it. You deserve to keep going. You deserve to help somebody out. You deserve to be helped. So just remember that. I am somebody. I am deserving of it all. And with that, we go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We out.
Yes, sir. And shout out to y'all. This is the second live stream. First live stream, we ain't had no viewers. This one, we had a few viewers. So we're gonna start slow and build up. So shout out to all 20 plus of y'all that tuned in during this live stream. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you go and you check out all of the other content on this channel surrounding Dion and his amazing organization, Dion Chicago Dream, helping to fight food insecurity. You get to see my man give his speeches, his keynotes. Go check it out. And make sure you go check out my channel, hbmedia.com, for all of your hottest sports takes and highlights. And until next time, we'll get up with y'all later, man.
We gone.
Peace.